Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are going to present our infographic, which is web technology and design. My name is Suhairil bin Sudirman and my partner is Eng Tek Hui. So basically, the title itself can be divided into two, which is web technology and the second one is web design. So the first thing first is what is web technology? Web technology is the formation and use of mechanism that allow different computers to communicate. We can also share resources or building blocks of effective computer network system to the others. Based on sources from the study site, web technology is a method in which computers communicate with each other using markup language and multimedia packets. Well, as we know that now everyone needs the internet to gain access to many things. Of course, web technology is becoming very important in this modern world. Some of this technology may be complicated, but without them, the website itself will not be fun and will not have a nice UI. Some example of web technologies include markup language such as HTML, CSS, CGI, XML, JavaScript, and HTTP. A programming language, web server database, and business application are also part of web technology. Next is type of web technology. Once we know the meaning and significance about uh, technology, about the web technology, surely we want to know what the type is. And the first type is browser. A browser is a web translator, which is they ask for information from a client, and when they receive it, they show it to us on the page in a format that we can see and understand. Some example of browsers are Google Chrome, which is most of the computer and device use Google Chrome, and the second one is Safari, which is like Apple brand, mostly using Safari, and Firefox, and the last but not least is Internet Explorer. The second one is HTML. HTML is a markup language. This provides the structure of the website so that web browsers know what to display. The third is CSS. CSS is a cascading style sheet. CSS web designers can change colors, font, animation, and transition of the web, which is they make the website is looking good and more fun. Next is programming language. A programming language is a way of communicating with computers and telling them what to do. Some example of programming language are the first one is JavaScript, which is used by all web browsers and many other frameworks. Next is Swift, which is Apple newest programming language, and then Python used in many mathematical calculation, and then Objective-C and many more. Next is database. The database is where all of our data is stored. It's like a bunch of filing cabinet with all the filled with files. The example of popular database is MongoDB, Redis, PostgreSQL, MySQL, Oracle, and SQL Server. Next is data format. Data format is the structure of how data is stored. Some example are JSON, XML, CSV, benefit from web technology. There are several benefits that we can get from web technology. For example, it can make it easier for us to update our content from anywhere at any time. We can also improve our own website with SEO, which is search engine optimization, right on the same page where we can edit the page and it can reduce our cost and it take a less time to build the site. Understanding what a website server is, how web pages are produced, and how computers communicate can help companies visualize their challenges and work productivity to solve them.
So now I would like to continue the presentation with web design. What is web design? Web design is a design of websites that they are displayed on the internet. So web design is including design of the web apps, mobile apps, and user interface. So why is web design important? There are several reasons mentioned here. First of all, it is the first impression of the user. When a user visits your website, it gives them first impression of your website. The first thing is the user will see the interface design of our website. If the website designs looks unappealing or outdated, the user will immediately have a negative impression. So then the user will also lose confidence toward the website. The second reason why web design is important is the page speed of a website. Page speed is an essential element of web design. It ensures website page load quickly so that user can access information fast. User hates to wait for slow loading page. If a page takes too long to load, the user will lose interest on the website. They will choose other similar website rather than wait for a long waiting time website. The third element that makes web design so much essential is navigation. When users access the website, they want to access information quickly and easily. If you want the user to remain on your website page, you must implement a solid navigation that easy for them to use because the user doesn't want to struggle to find information. User hates complicated navigation of a website. That means the navigation of the website should be simple and straightforward so that user can easily find the information they need. So there are two elements of for the web design. First is the visual elements. Visual elements are all the things that user can see in the website user interface, which including the fonts, layout, shapes, spacing, image, icon, and videos. The second main functional elements are the navigation, user interaction, animation, speed, and site structure. So there are two types of apps or builders for, for the web design. The first type is desktop apps, as we know, which, which is Adobe Dreamweaver or Adobe Photoshop. And for the website builders, which user can straight design the website through online, which is Wix.com or WordPress.com. So there are two types of web design. First one is the adaptive website. Second is the responsive website. The adaptive website adapt only when hit a breakpoint. Adaptive design detects the device and other features and then provide the appropriate features and layout based on a predefined set of viewpoint size and other characteristics. Responsive website is constantly changing according to the screen size. It is a single fluid website that can look good on any device. So as we know that the responsive website constantly changing according to the screen sizes. So the difference between responsive and adaptive design website approaches spotlight important options for us as web and app designers. Choosing with insight can empower your plan and execute your design with better aim, purpose, and result. With the pervasive and diversity of mobile devices, as designer, we need to cater the variety of screen size. This is a challenge that very tough for every web and app designer currently faces. From the giant corporate monitor to smartwatches or smartphone to a computer monitor screen size, there are a huge number of ways that users can access information online today. Designers looking to bridge the gap between devices have two options for their designs: the adaptive side or the responsive side. So there is a certain amount of confusion as to the difference between responsive design and adaptive design. The boundaries may seem blurred to those without experience or either style of design, but there are clear differences when you look more closely at the two. The term of responsive design was coined by the web designer and web developer in his book Responsive Web Design. Responsive design responds to changes in browser width by adjusting the placement of design element to fit in the available space. A responsive website shows content based on the available browser space and and then change the size of the browser window. The content will move dynamically arrange itself for the browser window. On mobile phones, this process is automatic. The site checks for the available space and then presents itself in the ideal arrangement. So adaptive web design is introduced in 2011 by web designer Aaron Gustafson in his book, Adaptive Web Design, Crafting Rich Experience with Progressive Enhancement. It also known as progressive enhancement of website. So where responsive design relies on the changing the design pattern to fit the real estate available to it. Adaptive design has multiple fixed layout design. When the site detects the available space, it selects the layout most appropriate for the screen. So when you open a browser on the desktop, the site chose the best layout for the desktop screen. Resizing the browser has no impact on the design. Some sites have been quick to embrace adaptive website. In adaptive design, it's normal to develop six design for the six most common screen widths: 320, 480, 760, 960, 1200, and 1600 pixel. So choosing between responsive and adaptive website, responsive web design is easier and take less work to implement. It efforts less control over your design on each screen size, but it's by far the preferred method for creating new site at this moment. This may also have something to do with the large number of cheap templates available for the majority of CMS, such as WordPress or Joomla, and etc. So that's all for me. Thank you.